Vince McMahon's final 2 Raw shows of the year saw him involved in 2 big segments going into and coming off the Triple H match at the Armageddon pay-per-view, coming out to confront Hunter on December 6 and the follow-up of the wedding angle to lead to Raw jumping big to a massive 7.2 rating, while a week later, a day after the Stephanie heel turn swerve, Vince arrived to the building going straight to the ring to call out Hunter, bringing out Stephanie, with the segment gaining over 1.1 million viewers to a 6.5 rating before leaving to be written off TV for the next few months. Kurt Angle continued to be established as a key player on the WWF roster throughout the month, continuing his undefeated streak while giving the first hints of the upcoming Triple H-Stephanie Triangle feud, with Hunter trying to put obstacles in front of him to end his streak, opening and closing the month with 2 5.4 ratings in matches against the Hardys and the Headbangers, while having his biggest number against Viscera on December 20, doing a 6.4. Godfather continued to be one of the most popular characters in the company, with him getting some of the biggest crowd reactions on a weekly basis while bumping Raw over 1.1 million viewers in the first 2 weeks of December in matches against Albert and Mark Henry, doing 5.9 and 5.8 ratings, continuing the gains on December 20 in a match against Chris Jericho at the top of the hour, bumping the show over 800,000 viewers to a 6.1. Roddy Piper was back full-time in December as the main opposition of the powers that be, with the Piper vs. Russo feud playing a key role in the main storyline heading into Starrcade, with the payoff coming on December 20 with Piper admitting that he sold out before hyping a shoot promo to explain everything at 9 p.m., leading to several confrontations during the segment, with Piper, Goldberg, Bret and Russo to open Nitro with one of its highest numbers in months, 3.5 rating, while holding Raw to its lowest opener of the year, 4.7, with Piper working 2 matches in the first 2 weeks of the month against Creative Control and Curt Hennig combined, jumping over 900,000 viewers to a 3 and 2.7 ratings. Writing off the powers that be angle on December 20 with Piper destroying Russo's office in the lead-up to the NWO's return. Hall and Nash worked 2 separate matches to start the month during Nitro's third hour, with Nash vs Benoit going against a huge audience on Raw, doing a 2 rating, while 30 minutes later Hall vs Sting bumped the show over 600,000 viewers back to a 2.6, with the Outsiders returning to the main event on December 13 in a big tag titles match against Goldberg and Bret to win back the belts, doing a peak 3.3 rating in the overrun, as Hall and Nash ran in past 11 p.m. to interrupt the Goldberg vs Bret main event on December 20 for the reveal of the reformation of the NWO, while an hour earlier Nash was booked by Russo in a handicap match against Creative Control after cutting a worked shoot promo on The Office, coming out with Scott Hall to pick up over 800,000 viewers to a 3 rating, closing the month with Nash in the main event against Cena and Wall in a handicap match after Hall was legitimately taken off the show after going off script on Thunder and having a backstage confrontation with Goldberg, going over 10 minutes in the overrun including over 5 minutes unopposed to peak at a 3 rating. After the last few months of build-up, Bret Hart turned heel to reform the NWO as the WCW champion on December 20th in the finish of the Hart vs. Goldberg Starrcade rematch, doing a 3.6 rating, with Bret in the 2 weeks leading up to the event defending his world and tag titles, first with a match against Luger to open the crossover quarter doing a 2.9 rating, while teaming with Goldberg against the Outsiders a week later doing a peak 3.3, with Hart doing an injury angle to leave Goldberg alone in another hint of the swerve to come, defending the title again to close the year in a match against Jerry Flynn doing a 2.6. Bill Goldberg continued his streak, being involved in Nitro's Peak segment of the night for 8 straight weeks during December, opening the month in the main event against Jeff Jarrett, jumping over 1.3 million viewers to a peak 3.7 rating in the overrun, with Goldberg headlining the show again in a tag titles match that turned into a mostly handicap match, with Goldberg against the Outsiders picking up over 1.1 million viewers to a 3.3, coming off Starrcade for the biggest Nitro of the month on December 20th, with Goldberg involved in the 2 highest rated segments of the night, first coming out to confront Roddy Piper at 9 p.m. a day after getting screwed out of the WCW title, while coming back 2 hours later for the Starrcade main event rematch with Goldberg vs. Bret, along with the post-match NWO beatdown, gaining over 1.1 million viewers to a 3.6 rating, in what would also be Goldberg's last Nitro show for the next 6 months, with him injuring his arm a day later after smashing several limousine windows on the Thunder tapings to write him off television and end the storyline a day after it started. Big Show continued his first WWF title run, defending the belt on every Raw show in December, being placed in the main event quarter on a weekly basis, first in a match against Viscera along with the go-home angle of the Bossman vs. Show payoff pay-per-view match, doing a 5.8 rating, with the rematch coming the day after the event in a handicap match against Bossman and Albert doing a 6, with Show headlining Raw in the next 2 weeks, first in a hardcore match against Kane jumping over 700,000 viewers to a 6.1 rating, and the final Raw main event of the year against Triple H picking up over 800,000 viewers to a peak 6.6. Mick Foley's first week of December '99 saw him having one of the big accomplishments in a different side of his career, with his book going to #1 on the New York bestsellers list, coming out to thank the crowd to lead to a confrontation with Al Snow on him teaming with Rock again in a segment jumping over 600,000 viewers to a 5.7 rating, followed by the main event on the night with Foley and Snow teaming with Rock and Jericho in a tag match doing another 5.7. with Foley having his biggest number of the month teaming with Rock again on December 13th against the Dudleys doing a show-high 6.6 rating, being involved in 2 segments bumping Raw over 2 million viewers the following week, first with him coming out to confront Hunter and start the build-up to the Rumble pay-per-view in a quarter jumping to a 6.4 rating, while 20 minutes later taking on all members of DX and Santa Claus costumes in a Boiler Room Brawl doing a 6.1. Closing the month with a pink slip-on a pole match against Rock that saw him getting fired and kicked out of the building in a match doing a quarter-high 6.5. Rock continued his transition run in December on the way to starting the build-up to the Rumble and WrestleMania pay-per-views teaming with Mankind along with a mini-TV program against Al Snow, starting the month in the Raw main event against Snow with Jericho as mystery partner doing a 5.7 rating, while a week later Rock came out early for a rare match in the first hour, cutting a pre-match promo before meeting the Dudleys for the first time in a match going over 15 minutes on TV, with Rock's promo and tag match bumping Raw over 1 million viewers to a peak 6.6 rating, working the first of the series of TV matches against Snow on December 20th doing a 6.2, with Rock running in for the save in a brawl with Foley against DX to set up a pink slip-on a pole retirement match at the top of the hour in the final Rock vs. Foley match on December 27th, gaining over 1.3 million viewers to the peak quarter of the night 6.5 rating, as Rock closed out a record-breaking 1999 that saw him holding the all-time pay-per-view rating and attendance records in company history. A week after the wedding angle, Triple H came out to open Raw's second hour on December 6th to sign the papers in a confrontation with Stephanie and Vince in the final build-up to the Vince Hunter pay-per-view match, with the follow-up of the wedding segment showing massive intrigue jumping almost 2 million viewers to one of Raw's highest opposed quarters in history 7.2 rating, with Hunter coming back 20 minutes later for a tag match with X-Pac against Kane and Test doing a 6. With the company taking the angle to the next level the following week and the official start of the McMahon-Helmsley regime with Vince written off television and Hunter and Stephanie in charge of the show for the rest of the month, set up with Stephanie confronting Vince a day after turning heel in a segment gaining over 1 million viewers to a 6.5 rating, with Triple H and DX closing the show in a swerve tag titles match with Test against the Outlaws doing a 5.8 overrun. Starting the feud with Mick Foley for the Rumble title match on December 20th, first with him calling out JR to bring out Foley to the ring in a segment jumping over 1.7 million viewers to a 6.4, opening the final Raw of the Millennium with a 5.7 rating, with Hunter strongly hyping a WWF title change against Big Show for him to go into 2000 with the belt. Starting at 11 p.m. in the final opposed Raw main event overrun to jump over 800,000 viewers to a 6.6 rating.